Hi everybody. Today we're chatting about what you should be working on in your riding over the winter. And this was a question that somebody actually asked me. A group of ladies took me out for lunch, a Christmas lunch. Group of ladies that I teach, and when we were out for lunch, one of them said, "So Lindsay, what should we be working on all winter? What do you want us to work on?" And I thought that was a great question, and my answer was quite simple. So we're gonna go through that. You're also gonna tell us what you think everybody should work on this winter?
Yep.
Just so you feel included here today?
I'll definitely give my opinion. Whether
opinion.
you want it or not, you're giving my opinion today.
Okay, so we'll both give you an idea of things that we think you should be working on over the winter. If you have questions or comments that you want to leave for us here, either while we're live, and we'll try to get to them while we're live, or afterwards, if you're watching the replay, please leave us your comments and questions. We're happy to come back and get those questions answered. If you have a suggestion for a future live, you have a question that you would like answered, it can be about anything you like. Specific riding questions are probably our forte, but you can ask us anything, and we're happy to try to help you as best we can.
We can solve any world problems. We know every way to fix everything from you name it, politics, religion, what else you got?
Yeah, oh geez, okay. Let's move quickly into the riding stuff. Okay, so why don't you go first? If somebody is saying, what should I be working on all winter? What are you going to say?
Well, the first thing I say is go ask my wife. Does that count?
Okay, why? Why?
So you get a good answer.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I think for me, the biggest thing, I tell everybody, don't work on any maneuvers. Work on the basics. Work on side passing them well. Them loping up into the walls well. Instead of fencing on them and spinning them and, doing all that stuff, get a good side pass. And I don't mean they go sideways. I mean, like, move their feet sideways and all that kind of stuff. And the maneuvers will be there. If it's a bro course, they'll be there in the spring when we can get outside and it's nicer. But you got to get those good side passes, not just going sideways. I mean, good side passes where their bellies are lifted, they're engaging, they're moving. That old, what's that saying? Beginner person wants to work on
advanced maneuvers. An intermediate rider or an advanced rider wants to work on the basics.
Good maneuvers, and an expert wants to work on the basics. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it work, is you got to stick to that basic. When you put your spur on their belly, do they move off and say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am?
There's another quote that I like that is, excellence is in relentless execution of the basics.
That's not big words for me.
That's the only thing that's
that is a good one.
Relentless execution of the basics.
Yeah,
over and over and over and over and over again. Refining and refining and refining.
So if I came to you,
yeah,
and I said, what should I work on this winter?
Yeah, like Brenda did yesterday. Yeah. Well,
and
if you came to me, are you trying to trick me? Do you mean like?
No, if I walked up to you and I said, "Hey, what do you want me to work?" Other than a million.
So listen, my answer for
push-ups and stuff to get six pack. What would you want me to work on?
Oh my gosh, my answer to Brenda is different than my answer would be for you, because you ride all day, every day.
Okay, well, I want to know, for me.
You want to know what?
I want to know what you'd say to Brenda, but I want to know what you want me to do.
You first?
Well, we got 35 minutes here of talking, but you tell me what you want me to do all winter, right now.
Okay, but you're going to need a lesson to learn how to do it, because I can't explain it just like this.
Yeah, I'm kind of simple. Anyway, stay on topic.
Okay.
Monkeying around.
Okay,
this is serious.
Listen, I got some ideas for you. I'll help you with that after.
Okay.
What I think most people need to do is work on their own strength. Because I think what happens, we try to tell everybody, you got to be riding as much as you can, and you got to keep your horses fit, and all those things. But the reality is that you're going to have to take some breaks. Like I'm going to take some breaks from riding, you know, over Christmas and stuff. I'm not going to stay riding all the way through Christmas. I got to make magic happen at Christmas time. And everybody has things that they're doing over the winter. There's going to be cold days. There's going to be days where, you know, for those of you that are keeping horses, you spend your whole day just keeping them alive, keeping waters broke open and getting them fed and plowing the driveway and all those things. There's going to be days where you can't prioritize your riding and you can't be riding as often as you would like. And I think
not only as often, but I think as intense
or
too.
As intensely.
I think that's the thing in the wintertime. A lot of people, I ride every day. Yeah, but you didn't sweat and Flicka didn't sweat.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think for most people, working on your own strength, if you could only commit to one thing all winter that was going to help you the most come spring when you pick up riding more intensely, it would be to work on your own physical strength in whatever way that looks like. If that looks like, you know, 30 minutes of walking a day, or it looks like weight training, or it looks like yoga, or it looks like, you know, working out with a personal trainer, or it looks like riding every single day. Riding and building up your strength, I think, is the biggest thing, because when we come into the spring and all of a sudden the weather is nice and, you know, we got a horse show coming up, we're out of shape, horses are out of shape. I think if you could work on your own strength, you would hit the ground running whenever you do pick up with your intensity again. Were you going to say something else? Were you going to add something to that?
Yeah, I think, especially when we give lessons, like, I mean, we give lessons all winter, but there's some people that do stop. And I see it in the people and the horses so many times that, you know, that they don't get back in shape to the level they want to be at. They think, well, you know, back last October I was stopping hard, I was spinning hard. And then they come back in the spring and the horses aren't in shape. Horses get hurt, people get hurt, you know, pulling muscles and twitching their back and stuff. If you can stay in really good shape, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think yoga is the biggest one.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I know it sounds silly, but
it is. Yoga, Pilates, anything that you're doing.
How many years ago was that we had that silly yoga tape that told me to bark like a dog?
It wasn't a tape. That would have been a really long time ago.
Well, Caitlin was just a little wee kid.
Caitlin was a baby.
And I still do some of those back exercises.
14 years ago? 15 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, that has saved me, you know, so many times, because when my back gets hurting.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because when Brenda asked me this question, the answer that I had to this question this year was different than I've had in previous years. In previous years, I've always said, keep your mind in the game in whatever way you can. You know, like watch the videos, or, you know, go and clean stalls, just be around the horses any way that you can, just be around it and keep your brain, you know, involved with the horses and the riding and the things that you're trying to do. And I think it's so funny that my answer changed to that, because now that we have the Momentum program, and, you know, in that moment, those ladies that were sitting there were all in the Momentum program, like, they have that, you know, so that's the whole reason why we called it Momentum, right? It was like to help keep up with, you know, just thinking that way, keeping your head in the game, and be continually learning and thinking about those things, because it's hard to come back to thinking about all the things your body has to do when you're riding, and, you know, what are all the rules again, and how do I, you know, just, it's hard to come back to that after you've had a significant break. So I'm adding that as my number 2. Number 1 is probably strength, but number 2 is, if you're not already, keeping your head in the game. If it's watching the Futurity finals, if it's whatever, something, reading a book, whatever it is.
How-to videos. Like, there's lots of, anymore, there's so much stuff.
You got to be careful with so many how-to videos, but that's neither here or there. Yeah.
For the good and the bad.
Yeah, but you can sort out what's good and bad.
Some days.
You ever taught somebody after they've watched a how-to video
Oh my
from
gosh.
somebody else? That's what I'm saying.
For anybody on here that takes lessons from us, if you want to drive me up a wall, start out with, I was watching this video and I tried this with my horse.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say that.
There are some good ones out there. There's lots of good resources.
Asking me is much better than watch this. Look what I tried.
Watch this.
Let me show you what I learned on the internet.
Okay, well, I think we've answered that. Strength in whatever way you possibly can this winter. Keeping your head in the game. And then when you are actually riding, the basics. Not the maneuvers, the basics.
I think another one, I don't know if it goes along the same lines, and I think we've talked that we're going to do one in the distant future that people really need to think about too is their horse's health in the winter.
Yeah.
You know, that my pet peeve is, while I'm done the last show, kick them out in the pasture, rip their shoes off, and we'll see them in the spring. And people make excuses like, oh, it's better for their feet, or it ain't better for them. Like, if you want an athlete, treat them like an athlete. You know, you got to stay in shape, and you got to keep your horse in shape. I'm not saying turnout isn't a bad thing. Turnout is a great thing. But they can, you know, if you go cold turkey on them or pull their shoes and turn them outside. If anybody watching this, remember this is Canada. You know, turning them outside on hard ground and
Yeah, when everything's frozen.
everything's changed and stuff like that. And I mean, we're going to talk about that one time, I think, how to properly manage that horse as wintertime comes in. But, you know, the more you can keep them in shape, and if you know, so somebody comes in and they ride with us and they say, oh, I ride, 45 minutes every day, but the horse is still big old pot belly and whatever. Yeah, you're right. But are you walking around talking to your buddy, or are you riding them? I could go to the gym and sit at the snack bar all day. It isn't going to help me. You got to move their body, move their legs, get their heart going.
And then I think the other thing that's really worth bringing up is if you have goals for next year, you need to be reverse engineering, your plans, what you're going to do. If your first horse show is in, February, you better be riding 5 days a week now, then you really, maybe you can take Christmas off, but you got to be committed to it. And I think it's important to look at what your future goal is and then work backwards and be reasonable about it. If you can't be riding in January, a lot of people don't have indoor arenas and they don't have a spot to ride and whatever. If you can't be, you maybe need to push your first horse show into, June.
And not just when your first horse show is, like when you talk about goals and reverse engineering, what you expect.
Yeah.
We have 3 that, we haven't, or I'm planning on taking out early. And there's stuff that is like our own personal horse, like they're open horse. They're our horses, but we're not making them for non-pros. I have different goals for them than a non-pro horse. And so I ride them differently right now. I'm doing things a little differently with them as far as where I want them to be. And then I have some non-pro horses where, we're doing, like, you got to know where your goal is, where you want to go, not just when you want to go, but what do you want to do? What do you want to work on? And if I have a horse that I want to work on a turnaround, and I want that turnaround to be really good in February, boy, I'm going to work on side pass, and I'm going to work on his feet. I'm not going to spin him a whole bunch. I'm going to work on the technique and the basic of it. I think that's so important. To keep them horses' brain in the game, the human brain in the game too, but even the horse's brain in the game. They get laid off and they're different.
Yeah.
And I'm not against, I think another one too that maybe should be said is, do something different with your horses. Like we've been starting to.
Oh, there's so many things we could talk about. What to work.
Yeah, like
over the weekend.
I think this is a perfect
obstacles
time to.
Is a huge one for.
Yeah, obstacles.
For us for this winter, I'm on a mission to work a whole bunch of obstacles this winter, with all my lessons.
And we've been starting to take a couple of our younger horses, and I mean, I haven't roped anything too seriously in a long, long time. But, you know, there's a couple of young horses we've just been now starting to, you know, we do work them as reiners and as the cow horses, but we've been getting them ready to go rope too. And, you know, I think you can do other things. You don't have to be so stuck on the one discipline or one thing. But it's good for those horses. You know, if we're stuck indoors, you know, give them a job, give them something to think about. But gotta make them sweat.
Yeah, and then I mean, the obvious answer too, especially for me, is the equitation. Like working on your own equitation over the winter is great because you don't have the stress of I got to get to the next horse show and my left spin is broken. You know, obviously then you got to be working on your left spin or you know whatever. But your equitation, taking the time to work on your own self, build your own skills, ride different horses. You know, there's a bajillion things you could work on this winter. If you want to narrow it down,
strength, stretching,
for yourself.
Horse
keep
riding.
the horses doing the basics. Yeah, I think.
You didn't say what I have to work on.
I mean, we should like get somebody to film this, and I'll show you. I'll teach you and show you what I want you to work on.
Do you want somebody to film
do
you
that.
teaching me so it
You
goes
know
to
those,
court?
like,
You have
coach,
proof?
No. Have you ever seen those things? And it's like teach the trainer or teach the coach. Where like, you know, like I used to play a bunch of basketball or tennis or whatever, and like every once in a while I'd be like, oh, the kids teach the trainer, and the kids, oh, well.
I just
I
like
can
wanted
teach
it
you a
for
lesson
like
and you can teach me a lesson,
court
and
case
everybody
when
who
it
takes
goes-
lessons for us can watch and laugh.
or what's that other
Your
one?
left, Jess, your other left.
What's the other one that everybody the thing on Facebook crap that trainers say?
Oh yeah,
I'm giving a lesson would be like that.
yeah.
You'd just be
Look
yelling
up.
at me over and over
Look
again.
up. Kick
God
harder.
dang well am. God dang it.
Oh man. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Gives you some ideas. Gives you something to focus on because I know sometimes in wintertime, I don't know, people beat themselves up about not being able to ride enough, or you know, in the springtime, oh, I should have ridden more in the winter or whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
Do what you can.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
I wish I went to the gym more this year too, but
You're really on
Didn't
that
know.
today, aren't you? You okay?
well, no, I just like we talked about like staying strong and
Yeah.
flexible and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
I think it's important. You know, I'm about to have an 18-year-old daughter. Do you
I
realize
know.
how old I am?
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Okay, so you're having a midlife crisis? That's what this is about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe I am. I don't know.
Let's not
Am I going to go buy a sports
Let's not have it live on the internet, okay?
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not as flexible as I was when I was 20, and
Okay.
should like go jog around the arena a few times every day.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Jess's workout videos coming soon.
What are you going to work on all winter for you?
Myself? You know what?
On the riding thing.
Last year, my goal was to work the flag a whole bunch. I worked the flag one time.
Yeah, that worked well, didn't it?
Yeah. Didn't
Maybe
work
you
out
need a
so
better
good.
coach.
Yeah.
I feel like that might
Definitely need a better coach.
Be
No,
well, we didn't get
you know
yelling
what?
at each other too bad. that night.
No, we haven't.
We just
recently.
didn't have time to get you
No,
on the flag.
I wanted to work the flag a whole bunch. I got busy with my equitation accelerator, which
Yeah.
was awesome. And then in the fall, worked on my suppling masterclass, which again was awesome. And then, you know, showing at Congress and showing at the World Show. And there's only so many things that you can put on your plate. So
And you know what?
maybe this is the year that I work the flag.
We do help each other. I have seen a lot of husband and wife teams, and we look pretty shiny compared to when they do it.
Do we? Okay.
Well, at least we cuss at each other under our breath. Not openly at the horse show screaming at each other.
That's true.
Yeah. Could be worse.
Yeah, we only make people feel uncomfortable around us every once in a while.
Yeah. What on earth is she doing?
Okay. Okay, thanks for being here with us, you guys. I'm going to cut us off.
Get your husband and wife to tell you what to do this winter. There's your best.
Oh my gosh. If you have questions that you would like for us to answer, please send them in to us, and we will see you next week. Have a great week.